Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 5 of Motherhood and Making, and today we're continuing our heirloom sewing series. Today's conversation is titled Homemade versus Handmade versus Heirloom, and why the difference matters. Hi there, I'm Whitney. You're listening to Needles, Motherhood and Making. I'm a professional seamstress, embroiderer, and recently I've added long arm quilting to my needles arsenal. But most importantly, I'm a wife and a mother to 3 amazing little humans. This podcast lives at the intersection of motherhood and making. In the last episode, we talked about what qualifies as heirloom fabric, especially when it comes to children clothing. Around here, we value slow work, thoughtful process, and the kind of making that lasts beyond a single season. So whether you're sewing during nap time, working late at midnight, folding laundry, or hiding in your car for one quiet moment, I'm really glad you're here. Let's get into today's conversation. As someone who sews regularly, I've come to realize that not everything handmade becomes an heirloom, and that's okay. It doesn't mean it's a failure, but understanding the difference changes how we make. Let's start with the homemade. Homemade pieces are often created out of the desire, necessity, or even curiosity. They carry heart, but they may also carry inexperience. Sometimes that shows up in skipping steps, like not pressing seams, not finishing edges, or using the wrong fabric for the pattern. And over time, that can lead to fraying, twisting, seams that don't hold. But here's the truth. Sewing is hard. And when you're only sewing occasionally, it doesn't really make sense to invest in every tool or perfect every technique right away. Homemade work often reflects someone is learning, practicing, and trying. And while the word homemade can carry a negative tone, I think it holds something meaningful because it represents a beginning. Now, handmade is where skill meets intention. Handmade garments reflect practice, patience, and a deeper understanding of the craft. These projects are planned, prepared for. The maker is choosing the correct fabric for the pattern, using proper notions, pressing as they go, finishing seams, maintaining their machines, paying attention to the details that elevate the final result. Handmade implies quality, craftsmanship, and care. It's not just that it is made by hand, but it is made very well. And then there's heirloom. Heirloom sewing is a specialized style rooted in tradition. It often uses fine fabrics like cottons and linens, silks, and incorporates details such as lace, pin tucks, embroidery, smocking, and delicate trims. Historically, these garments were sewn entirely by hand. Thankfully, today we have machines. I have several sewing machines. I have a cover stitcher. I have a straight stitcher. I have multiple sergers, all to help me sew and to create. But we can still honor the same construction methods and standards because heirloom isn't just about how something is made. It's about how long it's meant to last. Heirloom means something was made with future hands in mind, something worth keeping. As a mother, we understand this instinctively. You can prepare a meaningful meal, but it's the ones that are eaten together over and over again that become tradition. Heirloom quality isn't about effort alone, it's about the endurance. We begin with many things, but over time, we keep very few. The blanket that lasts through every stage, the dress that fit more than one child, the quilt that still smells like home. Heirlooms earn their place by standing in time. Not everything we make needs to last forever. Some things are meant for just the moment. A birthday, a photograph, and even a single season. And that's okay. But when we choose to make something with heirloom intention, we're naturally slowing down. We reinforce seams. We finish edges. We might even leave extra seam allowance and growth tucks so the garment can last even longer. We make differently when we expect something to be loved long term. And ultimately, our children decide. They don't care how long something took to make. They care how it feels to live in it. Heirlooms aren't declared. They're chosen quietly over time. Before you even walk into a fabric store, you should have a general idea of what you're making. Now, I know every seamstress listening to this probably is laughing right now because we rarely walk in to a fabric store with a plan. Okay. I love going in and just enjoying touching the fabric, feeling it, seeing what the possibilities could be. But when you do, here are 3 things worth considering: fabric type, structure and drape, care, and longevity. Now, I know that that's more than 3 things, but if we can group structure and drape as one and care and longevity into another category, I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. Fabric type matters because it must match your pattern. Woven fabrics like cotton, linen, denim, silk don't stretch. That makes it ideal for structured garments. Knits, on the other hand, stretch and move with the body. That makes them perfect for layering pieces or everyday wear. Structure and drape determine how the garment will actually look when it's worn. If you want something structured and boxy, you might choose a heavier fabric like denim. If you want something soft and flowy, you might choose a lightweight cotton or even a linen. And then there's care, because a well-loved garment will be worn again and again. A christening gown, for example, is delicate and often made from fine fabrics. It's worn only a few times, and that's if it's worn by one baby and then passed down to the next baby. And these are often carefully preserved. But a pair of little boy trousers are meant for climbing rocks and digging in dirt. That fabric needs to withstand real life and is easy to wash. I sew a lot of John Johns and sunsuits for moms who love that classic vintage children's style. These pieces are timeless. They're structured, practical, and designed for movement while still looking polished and intentional. Layering them with a Peter Pan collared shirt and knee-high socks, and suddenly you've elevated the entire look. Oh my goodness. I just get giddy when I think about little boys dressing up. And what I love the most about many of these pieces are truly that they're unisex. These classic collars, it works beautifully on both boys and girls. Heirloom garments tend to stay close to their traditional silhouettes, right? So you have John Johns, sunsuits, bubbles, pinafores, jumpers, rompers, button-ons. These are all the things that I make in my shop because they're classic. That silhouette, the layers, and the ability to take them from simple to detailed. And those details are anywhere from smocking, embroidery, lace, mother of pearl buttons. That's what gives them their staying power. They don't look dated in photographs years from now, because they were never chasing the trends to begin with. Motherhood itself is handmade. Every day is built slowly, with repetition, with repair, with intention. And not every day becomes a memory that we keep, but some do. And we don't always know which ones matter most while we're living them. I do keep a journal. Sometimes I write just a sentence, a sketch, a quick thought. And then other times I write a paragraph or I write my prayers down in it. The thing is, I love going back and seeing growth in my mindset, my character, my skills. I love seeing how God has blessed my family over the years. I revisit these prayers and the ways that they've been answered. And sometimes I'll even go back and add more detail of the answered prayer next to the prayer, just to hold on to a memory for a little bit longer. If you don't already journal, I gently encourage you to start. It's another way of keeping what matters. My husband this weekend actually took an impromptu trip out to Texas. His grandmother had passed away a few months ago, and we were able to be there for the funeral. But what we didn't know while we were there for the funeral was that she had a storage unit. And this weekend, my husband was given the opportunity to go with his father out to the storage unit. And he came home after this really quick trip. And I asked him, what did you bring back? And he said that he found a bunch of pictures. His grandmother was meticulous in writing and making notes on these pictures. But moreover, he said that he found her prayer journals. He didn't bring any of them back, but he did skim through them and he saw that she was writing down prayers. And he said he didn't take them because he thought that they were way too personal. And, what is he going to do with her prayer journals? But I kind of wish he had, because it's through those prayer journals that you actually see the full intention of the heart. And I would have loved to have known what was going on in Dorothy's heart during that time that she was writing her prayers down. And it just makes me think about my prayer journals and these journals that I write down, little notes, or I write down ideas. I love going back and revisiting that because I like seeing how God has transformed me or has taken the idea and how it has come to fruition. It's such a beautiful thing. So I kind of wish that he would have brought me one of her prayer journals so I could see what God has done in her life. That would have been a great heirloom. But it's those things that make us. On top of that, he found all these pictures. He did bring a bunch of pictures home, and a lot of these pictures have these types of garments that I'm talking about. The one that actually stands out the most to me, every baby in his family has had a picture in this little dress. I don't know who started this trend, but it has become like every child has to wear it. And you know what? The only child that I don't think ever wore it was my son, Maverick. But here's the idea. This little outfit had simple little neckline, maybe a little bit of trim around the collar, had pin tucks on the bodice. It originally was white, but by the time that my children came around, it was this not rusty, but it definitely had lost its luster, okay? It was an off-white, kind of grungy looking heirloom piece with really tiny floral details around the collar, but it was so precious to be part of what my husband's family considered to be important. And so every child took a picture in that outfit. Boy or girl, they took a picture in that outfit. And then all these pictures were hung up on the grandmother's wall for you to go up the stairs and see every baby wearing this outfit. It was precious. Loved participating in this. Had hoped that we could have kept that little outfit. We didn't, but we still have family who on my husband's side that's starting to have babies. And so it's precious little tidbit there. I say all that because handmade is beautiful. I don't know if that little dress of my husband's family was handmade. I don't know any of the details behind it, but I do know that it was beautiful. And the heirloom factor, okay, is because it was faithful and because we chose to make it part of our family. We chose to bring what one person thought was really cute and dainty, and we brought it to life. We brought that outfit out every single time to carry on a tradition. Handmade is beautiful, heirloom is faithful, and both have value. But when we understand the difference, we make with clarity. Thank you for being here, for making thoughtfully, and for choosing materials that carry children through their childhood. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with another maker or mother. Thank you for joining me at the intersection of motherhood and making. I'm Whitney, and I'll be back next Thursday with another episode. I'm going to continue our discussion on heirloom sewing series. The next episode I'm going to call What We Choose to Keep. Until next time, keep mothering, keep choosing what lasts, and making things worth keeping.